part and parcel of competition is Paradox. They're happy on one end that they were able to make it to such a big stage, represent their region, and put a performance that they could deliver on. And on the other end, Demon's Pride. This was their very first time from their region, and they wanted to make sure they put up a big performance. They tried their best, but the level of Group A being the toughest did trouble them.
Yep. Of course, the Latam fans here in full force, and that's just a fraction of it. I mean, for Africa, it's the first time for the region. For Pakistan, it's not the first year.
Yeah.
And that's the contrast that we see on the stage right now. They can still walk back with their heads held high because they have done more than enough to showcase their best on the world stage. And I'm pretty sure there's more to come.
There is a lot. That's what we look forward to from every team whenever they step up on a stage like this. And this is how we love to see things like this. But on stage, we have Barney ready. Let's send it to him.
Well, an exciting day, and Group A has now come to a close. 6 teams have secured a spot in the survival stage. 4 have made it through to the grand finals directly, and 2 are going to go home. And so that's what we're here to do right now. But first, I'm going to have a little interview with Buriram United Esports, because what a dominant day. Okay, let's set the scene, okay? Let's go back in time, your journey to this point. World champions in 2025. 5th in the regional finals, so not obviously, you didn't match your expectations for that, but now dominating in the group stage at the Esports World Cup, that's got to boost your confidence, right, Rosanna?
ก็ก่อนอื่นเลยนะครับขอแสดงความยินดีด้วยนะครับกับผลงานในวันนี้ออกไปในทางยอดเยี่ยมเลยทีเดียวนะฮะแต่ว่าก่อนอื่นเนี่ยขอย้อนเวลากลับไปในปีที่แล้วสักนิดนึงใน global ในเวที global tournament นะฮะหรือว่าในเวทีระดับ region นะฮะเราจบที่ 5ซึ่งไม่ได้ไปตามทางที่เราหวังมากนะอยากทราบว่าในวันนี้เนี่ยเรารู้สึกยังไงกันบ้างฮะ
ก็วันนี้ก็ทำได้แล้วครับก็ทำให้เห็นแล้วก็ใช่ไหมพี่ผมตอบถูกไหมนะฮะก็คือก็ดีใจครับ
stage ก็ในเวทีการแข่งขัน EWC 2026 นะกรุงปารีสนะฮะในกรุ๊ปสเตจทั้ง2วันนี้เนี่ยเราทำผลงานออกมาได้ดีทั้ง2วันเลยถึงแม้ว่าในเมื่อวานเราได้ทำบูย่าไปทั้งหมด3ครั้งด้วยกันแต่วันนี้เนี่ยถึงแม้ว่าเราจะไม่ได้บูย่าเลยแม้แต่ครั้งเดียวแต่เรายังได้แต้มทุกเสมอทุกเกมเลยนะฮะรู้สึกยังไงกันบ้างครับผม
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับก็ได้ตามซ้อมตามแผนที่เตรียมมาครับผมว่าคะแนนประมาณนี้พวกผมก็ทำได้เป็นเรื่องปกติอยู่แล้วก็ไม่ได้รู้สึกดีใจหรืออะไรครับแค่รู้สึกพอใจตัวเองมากกว่าที่ทำได้ตามฟอร์มครับ
Actually, we are pretty happy and satisfied with our performance because like this is supposed to be our true form and true power. So if we can do it like this over and over again, I think we're going to be able to claim the champ trophy.
I like to hear that. I like the confidence. It's good. Now, gentlemen, it's time to join me. Come on, walk with me. This right here, this is called the Crusher. And as you can imagine, we're going to crush some hopes, we're going to crush some dreams, and crush some keys. Like I'll remind you, we have 2 teams who have been eliminated from the competition. They need to have their keys crushed. And so, we're going to start things off. Would you like to press this button?
กดปุ่มเลยครับ
It's going to open up. It's going to reveal the teeth. It looks menacing. Let's be honest. We're going to crush these keys. Okay, Wasana, would you like to gently pull on this lever and send them home? Is there anything you would like to say to your teams before we crush them?
ก่อนที่เราจะดึงคันโยกลงมานะเพื่อส่งดึกคีย์ทั้ง2อันลงไปเนี่ยมีอะไรอยากจะฝากบอกทุกทีมเลยไหมฮะกับแล้วก็2
ไม่เป็นไรครับเก่งแล้วแต่ผมเก่งกว่าครับโทษที
Yeah GG nice try but we are better than you guys sorry
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Okay, pull that lever in 3, 2, 1. Send them home. And just like that, 2 teams have been eliminated from Free Fire at the Esports World Cup 2026. But don't go anywhere because 2 more teams will be eliminated later today. And as we get those groups prepped, we're going to head back to the studio before we continue with day number 2. Now, something that really hits close to home, and one of the things that we cherish the most here at the Esports World Cup, is support for our players on the main stage. And one of the most incredible things is, of course, when families, fathers, sons, brothers, mothers are here to cheer for their children and for their siblings on the main stage. It truly is amazing. I've got Shailesh here joining me, Shoto's father from Team Apex Gaming. Shailesh, tell me what it's like being a dad. I'm a dad. I have a 4-year-old son. What is it like to cheer for your son on the main stage at an event like this?
It's great to cheer for your son, especially if he's an 18-year-old son and who is doing something which I don't understand. So you can imagine it's very difficult to cheer for him. But once he won the Indian Championships, before that I was a tough opponent of his. I used to refuse and deny him whatever he asked for. But after he won that, I knew he was passionate about this game. So you can imagine I've got 4 other family members with me. I have spent so much money to come here to support him. So that says it all. Now I am one of his biggest fans.
I love that. We managed to convert you to being a fan of esports. That's brilliant. Madhvi, what is it like being here as a mum? I think that one of the most important things is to teach your children to chase their dreams, right? And now Shoto is chasing his. How does that feel?
It's a proud moment for me as a mother. He's playing very well, enjoying.
He's playing incredibly well, especially today. After yesterday, okay? Yesterday was a struggle, an uphill battle. Today they're playing so well. Yeah, tell me how it feels.
Yeah, I think 2 games is quite the progress I would. Yeah, I think 2 games is quite the progress I would say, because I think yesterday it was kind of a struggle for almost every single player in their team. But finally they have proved themselves and made a great comeback, which I'm sure a lot of people, even in our home country, India, are proud of.
I love it.
Shoto's family is going to be happy because Tag is going to survival stage, as we saw the first keys being crushed here for Free Fire at EWC 26, none other than Demon Pride and PDX. But we'll talk about that later, because we're going to be talking about the teams that are in the top 4 and will be going to the finals. One of them, Buriram, are very consistent today.
Yeah, consistent as heck, but it seemed like they did run out a little bit of speed from day number 1. I felt day number 1 was explosive for them, and it felt like today they're maybe in power saving mode, but after all, they're still up there in the lead. Do they really need to rush a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Loud was on power saving mode as well. They didn't really need to do much. They were just being very consistent, very average games, and they still remained up in the top. But what's interesting is Gun Dynasty kind of slowing things down today, intentionally or unintentionally. Unfortunately for them, Loud has taken away their spot in the top 4 already. They get to move on into the grand finals. But more importantly, it was the storyline of who's at the bottom. And Titan Esports Club, TEC, many doubters out there. Of course, tons of supporters as well. They have managed to save themselves from relegation.
Just barely. It feels like just barely, because at the beginning of the day, I mean, throughout the day too, that squad was just there in contention, doing enough to what it took to keep them away from those bottom 2. But the way you were talking about Gun Dynasty, that's a team that slowed down in a big way.
Yeah.
Lace, boy, did they slow down in another squad that was kind of able to bring it back up, as we see the top 4 teams that will be moving on to the grand finals was Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, Team Falcons, you know, I sort of said that this is something that they need to showcase a little bit more grunt into it, and boy, did they do that. So from up to about 10 matches, they were about 9.4 average kills and to 4.4 placement, which is actually beating, you know, teams like Gun Dynasty, who, you know, just brought it back in these last couple of matches. So seeing that sort of, like, I guess, competition between these 2 teams, Falcons, Gun Dynasty, is obviously what makes these storylines so fantastic. Clearly not enough to make it into that top 4 we saw in that final circle. It was like looking good for these teams, and then somewhere along the lines, you know, they came in from the eastern side. I know, like, I think it was Loud holding the eastern corner there for quite some time in the position. So it was very difficult for Team Falcons and obviously Gun Dynasty to sort of get that fruition and get those extra placement points that they needed to push them up to that top 4. But look, if we're looking into like survival kind of matches here, this is an excellent feat from them. So I'm pretty keen to see like what happens with like the next group and how these guys will go in contention with that. But like a great, obviously, you know, I guess, team effort from Team Falcons for them today.
Indeed. They need to
Team
find
Falcons.
a way to get those booyahs because as you saw there in the top 4, it was just squads that were able to get booyahs. Apex Gaming, I mean, we saw what one of the players' families was saying there, happy with their performance. A little bit too late from what we saw in the first day, but a great bounce back for this squad going into survival and taking some momentum with them.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing this team, if you think about it. Yesterday, fairly quiet. Now coming in today, I think coming in really hot. And I think it's really good as well because day one is more of like icebreaker day. Everyone's just trying to get a feel of each other as well, right?
Yeah.
But another team I really want to talk about as well is Aurora.
Yeah.
Because coming into this,
I would say that around Neptune.
True.
They were a team. I felt like yesterday they were struggling. They were knocked out a bit too early so many times. We saw the vision, but not the execution. And whatever it is that happened yesterday or today, in fact, they almost broke a record today.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to bring the conversation back to Team Apex Gaming, right? Because I think this is a whole big win for India as a region who are making it back into the global scene after a long, long time. I mean, many people would have expected these Indian teams to be rusty, and that's exactly what they were in day one, at least for Team Apex Gaming. But today they have shown us that they can play some good fights, they can rip away some good booyahs, but is it going to be enough for them to qualify into the grand finals? Because if you're looking at the teams that are stacked here, that are going to probably make it into the elimination rounds, it's not going to be easy. I mean, in this group in itself, I've got 3 or 4 favorites, but there are only 4 spots left for survival rounds.
And you mentioned it too. I mean, first time being able to be in this kind of stage. It's been a while. We even heard Lucifer saying the first day was going to be a bit of a slow start. The second day was going to be a hyped up moment for them, which ended up being exactly like that for this squad. Going to tag, though, I know you've been at the global finals many times. You've been at many events. What is something that you would like to see Team Apex Gaming do coming to tomorrow for survival? Because only the top 4 will be going, and it's not 2 days. It's just going to be 1 day.
Let me just put it this way, okay? The Indian teams are already winning, okay? Shoto is already winning. I want Indian parents like that, man. I mean, when the common factor for any Indian boy in his house is you become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or you're a failure in life, all right? So to explore esports, to have your parents fly all the way down to Paris to celebrate you and to support you, I think that's a huge win already. They are setting an example for everybody else out there. I wish and hope those other parents support their teams as well. But, you know, on a more serious note, I think they're doing very well. I'm not expecting them to run away with the EWC trophy the very first time they've stepped back into the global stage, but it's more to prove to the rest of the world what India can do. And I think they're doing a very good job at that.
And Tash, one thing that we saw being able to do from that team was getting the booyahs.
Yeah.
And in regards to those top 4 squads, we ended up seeing they had to get those booyahs. I feel like that's going to transition into tomorrow for survival.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that one thing's for sure though, when you are going to be running this and you do make it to that top 4, that survival stage, for me personally, I think that having that 1 more day to play gives you momentum, gives you an edge in terms of trying to learn what exactly needs to be fixed and how you can fix it throughout the day. As you go into the grand finals, granted that you do go into the grand finals, it does give you a little bit more of an edge for me personally compared to the teams that already just go straight on to that final day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think teams like Titan Esports Club, they are a little bit more grateful that we've added in more squads, right? They're a little bit more grateful that more regions are in here. So now they are kind of like the veterans in the competition. So they've survived this stage already. But to survive survival stage as a whole is going to be very tough because of the kind of teams that we have got going in there. We've also got Group B who are going to be playing in a little bit as well. Yeah, I mean, down at the bottom, the teams who are already struggling are not going to be obviously a very big, fight for them. But the teams that do make it in there, I think the survival stage is going to be a hell of a lot more exciting than whatever we've seen in the past 2 days.
Yeah, on the broadcast, I think it was the other day, we watched this group and I've been saying that it's kind of like 2 lobbies in one group.
Yes.
We have ahead of the pack, the top of the lead, the AGLs, all sitting up there, and then everybody sort of fighting in your mid-range to the end, which is pretty tough for this lobby. Like, this lobby is exceptionally stacked. And, if we do sort of like swivel over and move over to our second lobby that will be coming up, you're talking about India, SAUL, they're sort of in that middle pack range as well. So it's going to be an absolute grand fight, I feel like, in the survival match. But one thing I want to pick your guys' brains on, if this is okay. Yesterday, Paradox's performance was actually exceptional.
Yeah.
They have now found their way right down to the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I guess, AJ, I'll hit this with you. Was there any sort of inconsistencies that you saw being like watching this team throughout their play style today?
No, not at all, right? It's the first time Africa is stepping onto a stage like this. They don't really have a lot of experience in the esports scene within their own country. They don't have a lot of powerful teams to go up against, to scrimmage against. So coming in here, it's all about learning. It's about the experience. It's about, traveling around Paris, just watching, exactly how the culture is like here, having some baguettes.
It's exceptional just to get here in the first place.
Absolutely
So,
correct.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's inspirational.
That's what you were
for the
saying
rest of the
about
team.
Tag too. I mean, you feel like this is definitely a win for that squad. The experience that they're going to be getting is going to transition into later on with some of the other squads. And I think this is something that Neptune was touching about. And we even heard Conchita touching on it too from EVOS. They did have one of the players that was just starting off. They started off slow, but they ended up bringing it back as well. Same with the other squads. Aurora, I know that's one squad you were just talking about earlier on. They were able to bring it up. It's been quite a bit of an inconsistent 2 days for Aurora.
Yeah, they were struggling on day number 1. Even today, I think one thing's for sure about them, though, kind of like Tag, right?
Yeah.
You can see that they were making it up with these big hero plays, these big hero moments. You want to play catch up. It's good. But for me personally, consistency is key. You want to be able to go to that next map with at least 5 to 10 points just to keep yourselves ahead of the rest of the teams. That's for me personally.
Yeah, you are being too Asian mom with this right now. We have seen Aurora play for many years, and I think, 2 out of the 4 players on the main roster already have got the global stage experience, but they've been missing the past 2 years, right? Multiple roster shuffles, but now they are kind of getting it together. So this is one of their best performances that we've seen from them in the past 2 years. So based on that, they're doing hella well, right? I didn't expect them to walk away with an almost record-breaking game
That
in
was
the
crazy,
game number
though.
5. Yeah, that in itself shows how good they have come.
Great momentum, too, that they're going to be able to take that into survival. And that's the thing, though. You can be consistent here when we're talking about groups just to make it to survival. But it is going to be a bit of a level up, a big level up when we end up moving to survival, because the top 4, that's all you get. After that, it's not just 2 teams that are going to be going home. It is going to be the rest of the teams that are going to be going home that are not in those top 4. So going into survival, I know, by the way, there's amazing people that have joined us. Tash, Bunny, AJ, and Lace, especially you two. You guys are going to get a chance to cast that Group B. We'll get a chance to break down Group B with the other squad, but I want to just pique their brain. Who is somebody that you're going to be keeping a close eye on coming up in Group B?
Man, I am not keeping my eyes on anyone, right? That's the beauty about shoutcasting a battle royale. Anything goes, anything happens. Like from what we've seen already in Group A, teams that kind of didn't really do all that too well yesterday, even Titan Esports, they weren't having a fantastic run yesterday. Today is where they showed us what they're truly capable of, right? And that's exactly what I'm expecting to see. Teams who were not doing too great yesterday to step it up. Teams who are doing great, maybe, take a little bit of a pause, just like what Loud did, just like what Buriram did. Don't get too crazy with it.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I mean, I did dig a little bit with Carol about the Brazilian, scene, right?
Yeah.
And she was telling me, like, in the regular season for Brazil, one thing's for sure, the Fluxo was known as the...
Boogeyman?
Yeah, the boogeyman, right?
Yeah.
They were the ones that goes for back-to-back booyahs coming forward. But now, in this tournament, they are the ones that are just farming eliminations.
Yeah.
So they've changed up the way they play. And I agree with you. You really cannot tell what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to be part of this with you, AJ.
Likewise, Tash, right? And, speaking about Fluxo, I am not too worried about them at all. That's the team that we are definitely going to see at the Grand Finals. I'll be shocked if we don't see Fluxo in the Grand Finals.
I mean,
right?
let me give you my little opinion here on the end, guys, because I shouted it from the rooftops right at the top. We need to look at Team Secret, guys, okay? I have placed them as my underdog, all right? The view is there.
Underdog!
Yes, and if we saw from there, like, obviously, groups from yesterday, shaky start, but then they pulled out these bazingas just to skyrocket up the leaderboard. So, I don't want to jinx them. I know we're all about jinxing, unfortunately, but this is going to be one team that needs to obviously make this happen.
Yeah.
And I'm going Team Secret.
I mean, this group has been just talking about when we went to Group A, it was pretty much Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
When we went to Group B, it was none other than Brazil. You can hear the crowd in the background. You can hear them getting hyped up. And for everybody currently watching at home, don't forget, support your local team. Get into Free Fire. Make sure you support your local team, whichever one it might be. You can be biased. It's okay. We're trying not to be biased here, but sometimes it ends up happening. We'll be getting ready for Group B, but we do have an amazing video with Mia.
Yo estaba en el trabajo y ya cuando estaba bajando camino hacia la casa ocurrió los temblores. Ya cuando nos frenamos y esperamos que pasara los movimientos para poder pasar porque yo iba a pasar por un túnel. Entonces cuando pasó logré bajar a casa y estaba buscando a mi mamá. Ya cuando la encontré se encontraba llorando y cuando pasamos al apartamento le encontramos los bloques, estaban partidos, tenían ya de ahí salimos del apartamento porque no era habitable. Ya estaba partido, estaba botando el agua, pasaron muchas cosas. De ahí estábamos esperando reunirnos con la familia para poder llegar hacia donde nuestra abuela, que allá era un poquito más habitable. Ya nosotros nos fuimos a una plaza donde era más abierto y estuvimos ahí en el carro de nuestro tío esperando que las cosas estuvieran bien, porque había muchas réplicas. En un momento nosotros estábamos en la plaza y yo estaba logrando contactarme con el equipo, pero no podía porque no había señal, no había luz, como durante 2 días. Entonces nosotros esperamos los 2 días, nos acostamos en la camioneta, en el carro, y ya cuando llegó la luz pude contactarme con el equipo.
Right after the earthquake hit, I didn't realize how hard the earthquake had hit. It had happened right when we were going to join Discord for a meeting, and I ended up not joining the meeting for another reason, and found out a couple hours later that it was tragic. It hit me pretty hard emotionally. You know, these are my boys, people I spent time with, and then not knowing from them for hours until it became days for some of them.
El medio de la nada, accidentado pues. ¿Qué opinas, Capa Flow?
Feo porque nosotros teníamos pensado ir desde el aeropuerto de Caracas, que Maiquetía. Ya teníamos todo planeado, todo bien, pero hubieron rumores que las carreteras se habían dañado por el terremoto y así. Entonces varias gente nos dio opciones, ejemplo, que nos podíamos ir por Medellín, y así fue lo que hicimos, pero fuimos por Medellín.
After we knew that we were going to attend EWC, I already had a relationship with the mothers. So they knew my name. They always heard me on Discord when I spoke to them. And one of the things that I told them and I promised them was that I was going to take that trip with them from Venezuela directly here, and that they would never be away from me, that they were going to be with me the whole time. And the minute I found out that I wasn't going to be able to travel with them from Venezuela, it just broke my heart. And I try to make it as transparent, as much communication. I tried to inform the mothers. Up to now, we have a WhatsApp group that they're constantly receiving pictures. They're constantly getting updates from me, and they know that I've been trying my best to keep them updated.
Lo más difícil del viaje fue separarme de mi familia. El proceso de tomar la decisión fue hablarlo con mi familia, porque no estábamos seguros si ellos me querían dejar ir, porque como había muchas réplicas y estamos en familia, no nos queríamos separar. Entonces hablamos de eso en familia y mi mamá tomó la decisión de dejarme ir porque era una oportunidad grande.
Duramos como 5 horas para llegar a Barquisimeto, después 14 horas para llegar a Cúcuta y como 14 más para llegar a Medellín.
The day after it happened, I knew there was something that we could do, and the Free Fire community as well. And I started doing some flash tournaments on Thursday, which was that next day. I started putting statuses on my WhatsApp of who in the community wanted to contribute, whether it's a mod, whether it's a narrator, so we can do live, whether it's a producer to do live on TikToks, and also to teams to see who wanted to join and make a donation to be able to play our tournaments. We did 5 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, every day for a whole week. The tournament, I named it as Manos Unidas, which means United Hands, which also contributes back to, our logo, which is a logo of my hand, a picture of my hands. So Manos Unidas just came naturally. United Hands as a community, we come together to try to help our Venezuelan friends. And we had a lot of turnover. I mean, we had a lot of people wanting to join it and contributing more than, the normal. When we come back to our homes this coming week, we're going to have bigger tournaments that are going to last for about a week. That's going to be our goal now, to continue raising funds. For them, this is a dream come true. Coming from the whole tragic of the earthquake, it's just makes them stronger, makes them believe more that this is meant for them, and they're gonna do a great job. I trust a lot in our team, and I know that they're gonna try their best to take something back to their country.
Pues que todo es un sacrificio, que sigan su sueño y así, que nosotros pues aquí vamos a demostrar y así.
A team that has been able to overcome adversity with tragedies that happen. But at this point, I mean, they're just trying to reach the pinnacle of Free Fire at EWC 26 and trying to find a way to get into survival, trying to find a way if they can maybe make it to finals. And to be quite honest, it is going to be a hard road once again, because this squad is starting not in the best positions for day 2 of Group B.
Yeah, it is definitely a hard climb for Mia Corp, but hearing what they have to go through, it is such a miracle for them to be here with us today. And of course, for them, it is also a milestone and something that they can forever be proud of. So yeah, this is just one of those stories that gets you thinking of how grateful and how easy you have it in life compared to others.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is I personally saw their qualifiers into EWC. I was shoutcasting their games, and this is a team that really surprised everyone. We really didn't expect them to get in that champion rush condition. And I'm like, the story that they have, they fight through it, they manage to just go with what is needed for them, and they didn't have that much of booyah, even from the group stage. It's only grand final. So it's just the effort that they put in to get here that is what we are looking forward to.
Yeah, you can just see how much it means to these people. They're going through all this sort of, we talk about the mentality of performing on a stage like this, but also, you got to add the pressures of what's going on at home and everything around you. So just to be able to, we were saying before to the other guys, just make it to Esports World Cup is a fantastic feat in itself, of course. But look, the battle's not over yet, Seven.
It's not. Definitely not.
Yeah, the battle's definitely not over yet. 33 points they're truly having to overcome to make it to the top 4. But as we saw in Group A, that's going to keep moving along the day. They just have to make sure they are consistent. And don't forget, those booyahs have to start coming, because we saw from Group A, everybody that was at the top, they needed to get some booyahs. A squad that was able to get the booyahs yesterday was none other than, remind me again who it was, because it was a team from Brazil, Neptune.
Yes, MIBR lost. We're really looking forward to how they are going to continue this, because from what we've seen, especially comparison of Group A, Group B, we've already talked about like how Group A is a group of death. There's a lot of teams who might be able to go and get those booyah against Birmingham United, and this time around, I think MIBR loss will have an opportunity to continue their reign, because even from yesterday, once we switch it up to Group B, it was a slow game overall.
It really was. It really was, Lace. I mean, we felt like the pace definitely slowed down in regards to what we were seeing in comparison to Group A.
Yeah, I mean, even if we look at like the leaderboard at the end of the day, it was super close compared to our first lobby. So they can interchange and obviously work their way up to be secured in that top 4 position. But what I want to do, Seven, okay, is I want to give you a reason. All right, you saw me before saying Team Secret.
Oh.
And I want to tell you why.
Why?
Okay? I want to tell me why. Okay, so I want to tell you why. Sitting in 6, I'm always going to look at sort of that middle pack just under top 4. This team in 2025 was an entire brand new roster, right? Talk about storylines. they were not doing well. Okay, it was an incredibly rough start, and this generally can happen with like an interchangeable roster here. But on Free Fire Worlds in Southeast Asia, they won 4 games back to back.
Damn.
Okay, so this team, once the consistency hits, can actually put in the work for this. And now, in relation to our first lobby, they're actually sort of like rivals of AGAL. And if we saw how incredible they did, Team Secret were actually beating them in their series. So I'm expecting massive things from Team Secret.
Okay.
I've got the stats to back it up, baby, okay?
All right, hit me with
And
the-
there's about to be a power ship, baby. Team Secret underdog. Watch this space.
So you have them finishing in top 4 directly to finals.
I think they will just hit that top 4 mark, yes.
Okay, I love that.
That's exactly what I talked about yesterday because Team Secret won the FFWS Spring 2026 with a consecutive booyah, and that was amazing. But of course, speaking of rivalry, my eyes are drawn straight to Fluxo and Twisted Minds because they have the same amount of points, 90, and the same amount of elimination points, 55. Also, we still have Leon or Lion or whatever you pronounce it.
However you want to say it.
However you want to say it. Because this is actually one of the strongest team that did not perform well on the first day. I mean, just look at it. 7th with 72 total points. And this is not the Leon or the Lion that we knew, especially with all the great players they have. One of them is Games King, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Games King will be able to bring the fire to Leon, but I'm looking at another team. We've seen how well Team Apex did in Group A. Now, another team.
This is the blessing, by the way. This is the blessing.
And
Preface.
Right.
You're about to be blessed by none other than Neptune.
Yeah. Total Gaming. Let's see. Total Gaming. They might be able to catch up. I mean, overtake Leon, overtake Team Secret, overtake RRQ.
No, stop. We're blessing, remember? We're blessing.
He's blessing all those teams as well.
Blessing all those teams.
One team that you were able to actually bless yesterday, Conchita, was RRQ, and it worked out perfectly how you mentioned it. Starting slow, maybe some jitters of day one, but they were able to turn that around.
I do believe that the true challenge lies today because when we talk about RRQ, obviously, the well-known fact is that second day chokehold, second day jitters, and the pressure that sometimes they just cannot handle yet. This is the true test for RRQ, especially for Dutz as the captain. This is where he should be performing well. He should be calling all the right calls. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to see 88 points sitting at the 5th position with 63 elimination points and 1 booyah. It's looking quite promising, but if I'm talking about the Indonesian team, of course, I am super proud once again to see how Vitality has been performing and has been doing so good in this group, Neptune.
I want to say Vitality.
With that voice, right?
Yeah. The new strategy ended up working out for that squad, and hopefully will continue today, right? Because remind everybody that might have not been here yesterday, it's okay, we'll let it slide now that you're here with us. What was the new strat?
Yeah, my strategy of going for double snipes. We've seen that from Southeast Asia. We thought that they are going to let go of that because even Brim United, we're seeing them trying to do the same thing. But out of that, they just capitalize on it. They can easily switch up to, especially for those who are just adjusting the sniper, they can easily switch up to sniper, mid guy, or frontliner. So that's what I'm loving about Team Vitality right now.
Yep.
And again, going back to Chris Joe, like the mindset of the coach, it's just so much of things that we might expect from Team Vitality.
And they might be able to start hot right away instead of what we were able to see yesterday. One team that's looking to get some booyahs is Fluxo because their fans are behind us. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I see, is that Barney and Carol? What are you guys doing here?
Oh, here we go. We are here with the Fluxo W7M. Incredible fans. It really is amazing. Oh, Sal Cinelli joining me here. Tell us about traveling here with these guys and, you know, what this team means to you in this competition.
My family, I can explain how important Fluxo is for me. And it's really amazing to be here because my first time traveling abroad and with the organization, it's like living a dream and it's so perfect. I love
We can't hear you, unfortunately, so I'm going to pass this. I'm going to use this. Talk to me again about this being the first time that you've traveled outside of the country and what it's like to travel with all of these guys to support your favorite team.
Yeah, it's abroad, and I truly love. It's like we are really family. I love Fluxo. Fluxo is my family, and make me start doing live stream just because of the organization. So all that I am is because Fluxo. Sautinella exists because of the Fluxo. So it's awesome to be here, and I know that everyone has the same feeling.
I love that. I'm going to take this mic back off you because we've got to learn some of these chants because they're absolutely incredible. Go on, let's go, Carol.
Definitely. Amoroso. Okay, so yesterday we talked a lot about your travel here. It's probably the first time of most people here getting out of Brazil. And you guys share with me incredible stories. But I want to know if you guys have prepared any kind of song for this moment here.
Cara, preparamos algo muito da hora para PwC para aproveitar bastante esse evento. Trouxemos várias bandeiras, inclusive uma música nova. Então, eu quero impressionar vocês.
Okay, so basically they have prepared a special song for this moment. They create a special song for AWC, and even they bought a huge flag. So they are gonna show us the flag and teach us the new song. Come on, guys, I'm with you. Let's go.
Ei, Spotify, puxa aí, tô aqui na AWC, que é a música da AWC, puxa aí. Bora.
AWC song, let's go.
Vai. Puxa aí, puxa aí.
Oh, I love this. Oh, this is good.
E o meu fluxo vai vencer. E o meu fluxo vai vencer. O MD vai deitar. O MD vai deitar. O Putinho vai ruxar. O Putinho vai ruxar. Chama aí o Luquingue. Chama aí o Luquingue. Chama aí o Luquingue. Chama aí o Luquingue. O Gil é muito bom. O Gil é muito bom. Pops vem pra ser campeão. Pops vem pra ser campeão. Brox completa a seleção. Brox completa a seleção. Chama aí o Bentinho! Chama aí o Bentinho! Chama aí o Bentinho! O Fluxo vai ser campeão! O Fluxo vai ser campeão!
Fluxo absolutely popping up on the main stage, and we love it. For now, we're going to head back over to the studio, and we're going to head down to the main stage to kickstart the second part of Group B, Day 2. There we go.
Oh yeah, let's go, Fluxo. Oh, I got distracted. We're back on us. Okay, Fluxo. I see you with the energy right there. Let's go. Let's go, Lace. This is a squad that, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be looking to get their first Booyahs. And it was none other than their Brazilian brothers actually stopping them from getting those Booyahs, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, well, it has been said already. Despite of not getting Booyahs, they're still taking the top of the board. So it really doesn't matter at this moment. As long as they can get to the top 4, then it's okay. No Booyah, no problem for the moment.
No, I want to see some Booyahs out of them. Imagine how if they're crazy right now, if they're being loud right now, that Fluxo crowd, Gachita, it's gonna go crazy.
I know, but that's exactly what I'm waiting for, actually, Seven, because we have Buriram and AGAL in Group A, but we also have Lost and Fluxo and Group A, and that's gonna be interesting.
All right, well, it's time for Group B, Free Fire at EWC 26. Let's get started. 6 more games to go.
Half of our players now know their fate, while the other half is ready now on this Guiria City Ride.
That is right. 2 teams have now been eliminated from the competition, so the tension just got a little bit thicker because the consequences just became real.
Indeed, Barney, there is no room for error anymore. With only 6 games left, it's crucial to hit the ground running Day 2s now.
Look, expect insane plays, expect heartbreaks, but above all, expect absolute chaos. And so, with that being said, it's time to introduce your next 12 teams to the main stage to fight for survival, starting with the Mia Corp.
Al Ali Esports.
Team RRQ.
Twisted Minds. Fluxo W7 aim.
Total Gaming Esports IQ.
Straw Hats.
Lion.
Emmy Bear Loss.
S8UL Esports.
And finally, Team Vitality. Here we are, our Group B is ready. Anything can still happen, and no one is really safe.
We've got $1 million on the line, the survival stage around the corner, and our grand finals reserved for just the most elite teams. And so with that being said, it's time to close out the group stage of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup. Four of the most dominant teams in the world will step onto the Gadir City grid for the first time today. Teams who swept through their regions and left their opponents in the dust. But now they stand at the base of a mountain faced with an almost impossible climb. Well, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
Comes through, and Loud, all they have to do is just rush forward, and they're completely surrounded from every single angle. And Loud, once again, a booyah!
MIB are lost, they turn it around, and Bobs is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult, but also Bobs struggling unholy along with the help of MIB are lost, and it's going to be MIB are lost getting the very first booyah of Group B. Looking for the final player, Kororo, looking for that recovery, and they will be denied as Buriram pulls away the third booyah of the day to take the #1 spot on the leaderboard. And Lion are losing players one after another, and as that happens, even Dix gets eliminated, and Games King was the last man standing. And it is going to be MIB lost getting the final booyah of Group B's Day 1.
Our eyes on the teams who are in the top 4 slots as well as the bottom 2. Today is the chance for early qualifiers. Today is an unfortunate moment of heartbreak for 2 teams who will get to go on a little bit of a holiday here in Paris before they fly back home. But who is it going to be? MegaCorp Straw Hats down at the bottom, and S8UL a little bit too dangerously close to them.
Yeah, because today is anyone's game.
Oh, yeah.
Game 1, or at least Group A, was a story where any team could still make it big and survive. And I'm wondering if Group B will tell us the same story. Yesterday, loss went huge. 3 booyahs, ending the day strong. And I'm pretty sure that every other team in this group as well want to replicate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, it is a situation where MIBR lost, wanted to control the situation, but also wanted to find out exactly what they can do in a lobby like this. They've already proven themselves yesterday. I'm expecting them to have a little bit of a slower day today. I'm expecting the teams who are down in the mid part of the battle instead to really show us exactly what they've got. Obviously, it's the fight to squeeze themselves into the top 4. Even if MIBR kind of sleeps on us, giving us average games back to back, I don't think they're going to be at risk of getting kicked out of the top 4.
Absolutely. I think one thing's for sure, though, everyone wants to maintain that top 2 slot.
Yeah.
After all, again, you get that holiday, you get that direct slot to that finals.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, you mentioned just now during, the desk, right, about how hard it would be to be playing through that survival stage. It's going to be hard, it's going to be lethal, and most importantly, it's going to be mind-bogglingly stressful.
Yeah, absolutely, because we have got the best of the best from around the world. We've only got the 4 slots. I guess a little bit of a blessing as you take these Super Titans out of the race. Now you get to go up against teams who are maybe just a tad bit better than you, right? Because you're taking out the teams who are down at the very bottom, so no easy picking. I think it's going to be ruthless. It is going to be very challenging for the teams to maintain consistency when we get into the survival stage. But of course, beyond all of that, if any teams do manage to show us a constant streak throughout those 10 games, I mean, color me surprised for sure, but I'm looking forward to a situation like that. What's going to be the fate of the Indian teams? Now, we saw the support for Shoto. He's got his family members here, but for the rest of the Indian squads, I hope they are not going to be depending on the support, but they're going to be depending on all that they have conversed, all that they have prepared for before reaching this stage, because there's still a lot to prove, and more importantly, you got to save yourself from Miracle as well as Straw Hats, who are sure as hell going to be looking to climb up the leaderboard today.
Yeah, and I think what's really important as well is that day 1 is the day that you get a feel of everything. You have an idea, you learn from your mistakes. You have that few hours before coming into today to really fix up your mistakes, whether it be changing your drop spots, whether it be figuring out which teams you'd rather go head-to-head with. And that is why, it's really scary today. Definitely, I think the heat is up. Everyone's playing a little bit more faster compared to cautious compared to yesterday, at least from Group A, that what we've seen. I wouldn't be surprised to see it here too in Group B.
Absolutely. Fluxo, the potential of them going all out today, I really don't see it, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a team that usually flies under the radar, and when it's definitely needed at the finals, that's exactly when they show you what they're truly capable of. That being said, though, 2 years back-to-back, they haven't been able to grab the trophy. Not only were they not able to grab the trophy, they were nowhere close to walking away with the trophy here at the Esports World Cup for Free Fire. So perhaps they want to change their tactic up a tad bit this time round. They're currently sitting in the 3rd spot, not too far away from MIBR loss. I feel like 1 game can allow them to catch up. 2 games should allow them to overtake MIBR loss. But that is, of course, a question. Is MIBR going to allow such a thing to happen today as well?
Yeah, because yesterday they were on a streak. They were taking advantage of the fact that everyone is going to be cautious. It was very high-risk play, but it worked out very well in their favor. And now today, after hearing about what's happening in Brazil, right? Them in the regular season, how they were the boogeymen, how they were always back-to-back-to-backing when it comes to those booyahs. Can they bring that happening here today? Because definitely they had changed their strats from yesterday till today, but that is why things get really interesting, because definitely all eyes are on this top 2. I'm sure no way in hell do they want to go into survival stage when they have the capability of making it into the top 2.
Yeah, and shout out to Chris Joe as well. Vitality has been whooping some butt out there on the battlefield. Who would have expected Vitality to do even better than their Brick Brothers RRQ, who yesterday did manage to walk away with 1 booyah to their name, but not in the top 4 just yet. Vitality, on the other hand, are doing better than Fluxo as well as Twisted Minds. This is a big factor. I feel like they definitely need the confidence boost. Seeing Vitality make that early access into the grand finals is definitely going to be fantastic for them. We've got the RRQ fans out here versus the Fluxo fans as well.
Yeah.
Who can be louder? Who will have these smiles on their faces by the end of these 6 games?
And also, most importantly, who will be silenced by the end of the day as well? I'm really curious to see who it's going to be. But we all know who's the loudest of RRQ. Conchita in the backstage. She was screaming for them.
I highly doubt Conchita only screams for RRQ. That woman is unbiased. She wants to scream for everyone, but she sees the potential in the kingdom of RRQ. But I have to tell you, the Fluxo fans are a tad bit more lively, right? I want to see that exact same energy from the opposite end as well. RRQ, y'all need to stand up. Y'all need to make some noise, baby.
Y'all need to yell, that's for sure. Give your energy to your favorite team as we go into this game. Oh, they're starting to dance here. There we go. That's
you
the energy.
More energy, RRQ. More energy.
Yeah, I want to hear them sing. I mean, we hear a lot of the Fluxo chants, right? Yeah, so I need to hear them start singing, start yelling, because they do have a chant, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are eventually going to hear it. And I hope
they continuously cheer their team on because the kingdom of RRQ just tend to get disappointed a tad bit too early sometimes. And I know RRQ is not really looking to go wild out there on the battlefield today, but it would be nice to have that early access into the grand finals. But knowing the team, knowing how they play and how they do love getting some extra experience out there, seeing exactly how well the rest of the teams can do, I think RRQ might be taking it a tad bit slower this time around as well. You also have to look at the teams who are trying to maintain the top 4 spots, right? Twisted Minds, Fluxo, MIB Outlaws, these 3 teams are going to be very difficult to knock off of that perch. The closest ones that RRQ understands in terms of rotation, in terms of their play style, is going to be Vitality. So maybe some infighting. Maybe we're going to find a little bit of a battle between the 2 Indonesian squads out there.
Yeah, Conchita said that's a term for that in Bahasa Indonesia. Perang serumpun, she says.
All right.
Yeah, so that is something that I wouldn't be surprised to see as well. I do agree with you. The rotation is going to be happening. They can go for that as well. And I also really am excited to see if any of the bottom teams could actually just really surprise us as well. I think Total Gaming Esports as well didn't really have the best of days yesterday. Maybe a reset today would be something. I mean, you talked about how this is the first year that India has made it into the big stage as well, right? You want to get
back after a long time, yeah.
Yeah, after a long time. Now, you know, you want to get experience. You want to really get into the groove of things. It's so different playing from the Indian stage to a global stage with so many different play styles out there in the open, and they've definitely learned something from yesterday.
Tough lessons were learned yesterday for sure. I think IQ Total Gaming, SHUL Esports, they have a very heavy burden on their shoulders because if you look at the size of the fan base in India, expecting them to perform, it's absolutely stressing, right? You know, some of the other teams who don't really have a huge support back at home, they've got nothing to lose. They've got nothing to worry about. Not many people judging them out there. Every mistake that the Indian teams make, on the other hand, you're going to see some harsh comments on YouTube. You're going to see some harsh posts later on. So they need to avoid that. But of course, they need to play for themselves. This is something that they've been working for the past few years. And this is where you really have to go all out. Everything's on the table. But even if they do not do that, I'm not going to be tickled by it at all. As long as they avoid the bottom 2 spots. Because I do want to see more from the Indian squads. So having them at the survival stage, I think I'm going to be quite happy about it.
Yeah, I think I'm also very excited to see this as well as we go into this later. I think one thing's for sure though, when you talk about so many of these teams, compared to say Group A, which means I would say a cutthroat group, Group B I think is something a little bit more anyone can be making anything happen, right? So that is where we really have to be paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely right. If you look at whether or not Group A truly was cutthroat, yeah, you've got so many Titans in there, you see a lot of eliminations, but because you don't have as many Titans in